In 2023, Canada experienced a significant increase in the number of international students who failed to show up for their studies after being granted study permits. A report revealed that around 50,000 international students who were initially approved for study visas did not arrive in the country to begin their academic programs. This marks a notable rise in non-arrivals compared to previous years, which has raised concerns for educational institutions that rely heavily on international students for both revenue and academic diversity. The absence of these students has posed challenges for Canadian universities and colleges, which have traditionally benefited from the tuition fees and cultural diversity international students bring. Several key factors have contributed to the growing trend of international students failing to show up in Canada. One of the most significant reasons is the increasing cost of living in the country. Over the past few years, Canadian cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal, which are popular among international students, have experienced sharp increases in rent and overall living expenses. For many students, especially those from lower-income backgrounds or developing nations, the cost of studying in Canada has become prohibitive. The financial burden, combined with higher tuition fees for international students, has made it difficult for some to follow through with their plans to study in Canada, leading to a rise in deferrals or decisions to abandon their studies entirely. Immigration delays have also played a role in the rise of no-shows. Many international students have reported facing long delays in obtaining study permits and visas. These delays have created uncertainty, with some students unable to finalize their travel arrangements in time for the start of their academic programs. The unpredictability of visa processing times has made it difficult for students to plan their studies in Canada, leading to frustration and, in some cases, the decision to study elsewhere or remain in their home countries. As a result, delays in immigration processes have directly impacted the number of international students arriving in Canada. Another factor contributing to the no-show phenomenon is the shift in global travel patterns, partly influenced by the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. While travel restrictions have largely been lifted, some students from countries with strict travel regulations or political instability have found it difficult to navigate the complexities of international travel. Moreover, some students have opted to pursue online learning or study remotely instead of relocating to Canada, which may seem like a more affordable and convenient option. The global shift toward digital learning platforms has made it easier for students to continue their education without having to leave their home countries. Furthermore, the increasing competition for international students from other countries has made Canada less of an attractive destination for some prospective students. Countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and several European nations have been actively pursuing international students with more competitive scholarships, improved visa policies, and better affordability. This has led some students to reconsider their decision to study in Canada, as other countries are offering more appealing options. As a result, the global market for international students has become more competitive, further contributing to the growing number of no-shows in Canada. The absence of 50,000 international students has had significant financial consequences for Canadian educational institutions. International students contribute a substantial amount of revenue to universities and colleges, particularly because they pay higher tuition fees compared to domestic students. The no-shows represent a considerable financial shortfall, which has forced institutions to reconsider their enrollment strategies and find ways to mitigate the impact. Universities are likely to focus more on attracting students from new international markets, diversifying their recruitment strategies, and enhancing the support services they offer to international students to ensure that more students follow through with their plans to study in Canada. In response to these challenges, Canadian universities have been working to provide more support to international students. This includes offering assistance with housing, navigating the visa process, and addressing financial concerns. Some institutions are also exploring new ways to engage students even before they arrive in Canada, offering pre-departure orientation programs, and improving their communication with prospective students to reduce uncertainties. In conclusion, the issue of 50,000 international students failing to show up in Canada highlights a combination of factors, including the rising cost of living, immigration delays, changing travel patterns, and increasing global competition. These challenges have put pressure on Canadian educational institutions, which will need to adapt their strategies in order to maintain their position as a top destination for international students. To continue attracting students, Canada will need to offer more financial and logistical support, while also addressing broader economic and policy factors that may impact international student enrollment.
Thanks for watching our video. Please hit the button and subscribe the channel.